Hi, lettering friends. I am here to show you today how to fill your fat one. How do you fill your fat one? You're probably thinking, what's a fat one? Well, I'm going to show you in just a moment, but before I do, hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Heather Martinez. I'm a graphic facilitator and I help graphic facilitators improve their handwriting and their lettering. I also do it for kiddos too. So, I have been teaching lettering and working with Neuland Tools since 2011, but I became an ambassador in 2016 and started traveling the world teaching people how to letter better. And after 4 world tours, I had my frequently asked questions stack was like this thick. Because every time I start a workshop, I ask, what are your burning questions? I want to find out what their burning questions are so I can answer them. Most of the time, I cover it in my agenda, but for those that I know I'm not going to cover in the agenda, I'll answer those right away or find an appropriate place during my workshop to do that. So please come visit me so we can letter together. My next workshop coming up is through Inky Thinking, so check out their website. They'll be listing what the upcoming workshops are. And I'm going to show you today how to fill a fat one. And the biggest question, or the first question, ah, the first question that came up, surprise, the first question that came up was, how do I open the darn thing? Well, it is a graffiti tool that is designed by Montana. And so it's slightly different because there's always got to be a trick to it, right? So let me show you the trick. Now, when you receive an order from Inky Thinking, they have beautiful packaging here. I love their custom stickers. The big reveal. Ta-da! And you may even get a sticker if you're lucky. So make sure you order often so you can get all of their stickers. But here what we have is the FatOne 50 millimeter. It comes in two different sizes. I believe the 30 and the 50. And then I'm also going to show you, I'll be using the refill 500 because 500 Brilliant Yellow is my favorite ink to put in any size fat one, mainly because you can use this color as an undercolor and then you can use other colors over it. I'll show you in just a minute. But first, let me answer the big question is how do you open this thing to put ink in it? Well, you want to make sure that you're not grabbing it by the top because you can crack this piece. I've seen them come off, but only once, so it was probably pretty rare. And you want to make sure that you're not following the rule righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. You're actually hold this and go clockwise to open it. Now, that's the key piece to just get the darn thing open. If people don't know that, they're not going to get it open. So it's actually turning it to turning it the opposite way. Now, this is probably the most important part that I tell people. You have got this little pump action mechanism in here. And if you take this off wrong, the spring's going to come out and you're going to have a difficult time getting it back in. Might not be as bad of an issue when you first get your marker, but when you go to refill it, this is critical because you're going to have a mess. So you're also going to make sure that you've got a tissue or a rag or something nearby. Now, what you're going to want to do is starting at these little bitty, let me zoom in here. Starting at the threads here, you want to put your thumbs down and you're going to feel your thumbs go underneath a little lip here. Now there's two lips. If you go under just the very top lip, that's where the spring's going to come out and it's going to be like putting together a carburetor to get it back in. So make sure that you run your thumbnails along here and you know that you're under the second lip, the bottom lip. This is that spring mechanism that I told you about. So put that aside for just a moment. You're not going to need that. Now, there is a marble in here. Now, why is the marble in here? Well, for graffiti artists, they are going to put an acrylic. It's a high flow acrylic. See, it says acrylic on the side. Paint in here, and they need this marble in here to help mix it up. But we want to take that out as graphic facilitators because if you leave it in here, you're pretty much just telling the whole world, hello, I'm here to graphic record for you, and it's noisy. So take that out. Don't put it on your tabletop because it will roll away and hurt someone, make sure you put it in a jar. Um, I save all of mine. I have a whole jar full of these, so that's super fun. Or use it in a piece of art, but make sure that you dispose or use of this carefully because you don't want anybody to get hurt. So I'm actually going to put it in a little container next to my desk. So now you've got your empty Montana, big one, fat one, sorry, your fat one. And we're going to open up our ink here. Now, what I love about Neuland inks and all of their markers is that they are refillable. As Brandy Agerbeck says, they're renibbable. And a couple of tips about this jar. Now, there's a couple more tips that I'm going to cover in my in-person workshops because I have to get you to swear to secrecy that you won't tell anybody. So sorry, there's a few things I'm not going to tell you in this video, but you're going to get everything you need here. Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to take your refill bulb and injector needle, and you'll notice it is a needle. It's very sharp, and you're going to push it down. The first time you do this, you're going to feel it's going to be kind of tight. Once you push it down, you can screw it in. And what you've done is you've punctured a seal that's in there. Then you're going to put it upside down. You're going to squeeze the injector bulb, and that's going to fill with ink, which that's really great because now when you go to put it inside of your FatOne container, always unscrew using the cap, not the injector bulb, and then always bring it over to wherever you want to fill holding that, because if you hold it by this, you could inadvertently squeeze a bunch of ink out. Now, if we did it this way, it might take a long time. So we're going to go ahead and just squeeze our ink into here. And there's a little label, and this is just from the factory. You can peel it off if you want, but I only go that far when I'm putting ink in. That's the most I'm ever going to put in there. Now, why is that? Well, first of all, if we put this entire bottle of ink inside of here and something happened to this, we just lost all of this ink as well. And this much ink is going to last you a very long time. For some people, it could last a year. So just, you don't have to put a whole lot of ink in it. Always recap so that you don't have a mess. Now, don't put this on just yet. Remember, you've got to put this back in. I had someone put this on and then go to pump it, and all of the ink came out. So it's important that you put this back in, make sure it snaps, and when you screw this back on, you're going to go the opposite way that you're used to. Now, we're going to open this up, and what you do is you pinch both sides to open this up. And from here, we could just go straight down and this ink will pump. You're going to pump this and it's going to go through here, but it will take a long time and it might not be even. So this is one of the tips that I share in person. Okay, I'll share it with you. So what I do is I take a little bit of ink and I go just right across the top. Now, this tip came to me from Brian Tarallo, and he said this is important because what it does is it helps the ink that's coming from down here meet up at the top. So it has a channel, an ink channel on where to go. You can put as much as you want up here. In fact, this is probably enough ink to get you started and last a long time. And these nibs are replaceable. I think you have to get them straight from Montana, but you can get replacement nibs as well. Now, we're just going to go, let me get us spaced here. Now, I can just go ahead and draw a line. That's ready to go. But as you can see, I don't have any ink that's coming up here yet. So I'm going to pump this a couple of times. You'll see that it's already starting to draw in. If I go for a long time, it's going to make a pool, which if that happens, don't worry, just use it to spread back and forth, and that ink is going to go back down into this area. It's okay if you have a couple of white spots. That's eventually going to fill in, especially with gravity. But the important part is that you see you've got ink in here, so it's channeling up through here and out of the tip. Now, let me show you why I love using the 500 Brilliant Yellow when I am lettering, because this yellow can hold its ink. And remember, when we're doing when we're writing a letter, especially when we're doing a broad edge, we are going to do, let me do it this way because it's going to be a really big letter. We're going to do 4 nib widths high. You're seeing almost all of that. I might have to zoom out. There we go. We go this way. We want to go 4 nib widths high because we want to be able to write the letter E. If we just wrote a letter E, let me show you here. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is called a nib scale. If we did a letter E, just 3 nib widths high, what would we have? No spacing in between, right? So if I go 4 nib widths high, this is a Neuland hand E. I teach this in Let's Letter Together in Unlock Your Neuland Markers. So check that out. So see here, if we can go 4 nib widths high, we can write the letter E. What's the letter E? The most common vowel in the English alphabet and might be in other languages as well. So, and the reason why I love that brilliant yellow is because now I can add colors on top of it. And yellow is because it's sort of in the middle of the color palette, you can add red on top of yellow and it holds nicely. You can put orange on top of it. And then you've got 3 analogous colors, yellow, red, and orange. You can put blue on top of it. It lays very nicely. You could put green on top of it. And then you have your analogous colors, yellow, green, and blue. And so it's just a great color to work with. Now, if I ever see you put a shadow on a yellow letter like this, I'm going to scream. This is probably one of my biggest pet peeves ever because it's so hard to look at. So I always recommend that before you put a shadow on any yellow letter to add an outline to it. Outline that letter, give it some credit, right? And then you can go back in and make an even bigger drop shadow. And if you want to learn more about drop shadows, where to place them, especially on rounded letters, come to my in-person workshop. We cover all of that. I even talk about why I put the shadow where I put it. I talk about speed. Okay. Any questions about the FatOne, please put them in the comments. I will answer those or come to my next in-person workshop. I hope we have an opportunity to letter together again. Check me out at letslettertogether.com and be sure to get your supplies from Neuland or at Inky Thinking. See you next time.